Scream is 30 this year, but it managed to fill the theater with all generations 2 days before the official premiere on a special horror movie night. There were kids who were seeing a horror movie for the first time, teenagers with Ghostface shirts pushing to go in first, but also generations who were kids when the first movie came out. Scream 7 is strongly connected to the first film, but also had cameos from major characters from sequels as well, and many Easter eggs. In true Scream fashion, the movie made jokes about itself, Sidney's absence from Scream 6, AI and all things current. If Scream 5 was a love letter and tribute to Wes, this was a true love letter to all Scream fans. Be warned, spoilers ahead. The trailer kinda gives away the opening kill. A young couple staying at the Massacre house Airbnb were the first to go. The opening took its time to introduce these two characters as they looked around the house in awe, or at least the boyfriend, as they answered horror trivia, with him giving the audience a history of some of the kills that happened in the house. The girlfriend, even though knowledgeable in horror movies, doesn't seem to enjoy the house and keeps commenting things that will come back to bite her in the ass later. The opening was particularly enjoyable because between the motion detection dummy Ghostface in the room for the visitors to get scared, and the boyfriend trying to scare the girlfriend to set the spooky mood dressed as Ghostface, it was suspenseful to see how the real Ghostface will show up. When he does, he immediately kills the boyfriend by stabbing him in the head and turns to the girlfriend, who does a pretty bad job fighting him by running up the stairs. This was funny because both Sidney and Nev made jokes about girls dying by running up the stairs and not through the front door. Kevin Williamson talked in recent interviews how he always writes notes about what he thinks might end up being interesting kills, and during some past filming he noticed the chandelier in the Massacre house hall and he thought it would be a good idea to use it. While fighting Ghostface, the girl manages to push him away, which sends them both flying backwards. While Ghostface falls down, she grabs the chandelier, but doesn't have the strength to swing far enough to reach the railing. As she falls down on Ghostface on the floor, he turns around, impaling her on the knife. Her comments from before come into play, so be careful what you say in front of Ghostface. She told her boyfriend how she would hate to be burned alive like Amber. As she is lying on the floor still alive, Ghostface starts pouring gasoline on the floor and all over her, lighting a match and setting a big fire as he victoriously walks away from the house, committing kills number 1 and 2 in the opening sequence, which took a little over 10 minutes. Sidney and her daughter Tatum's relationship takes up most of the movie's story, as Tatum wants to know about Sidney's past, but Sidney avoids talking about it as it is full of death. For a while, things maintain a calmer pace until half an hour into the movie. Tatum is doing a school play, going through rehearsals with her friends, which is a nod to Sidney doing theater in Scream 2. After the group part ways, Tatum's friends Hannah and Aaron stay to practice on the flying rig, with Hannah in the harness and Aaron behind the controls. With Hannah up in the air, Aaron hears a noise, and that's the last time we see him alive, becoming kill number 3. We cut to Hannah calling his name, but instead of getting help with her harness, Ghostface has more flying lessons for her. He starts messing with the controls and makes her swing around the stage as he comes to slice her hands and legs before slicing her stomach open, dropping guts all over the floor. Around 40 minutes into the movie, Hannah becomes kill number 4. Sidney had a FaceTime call from Stu Macher, who announced the kills, but didn't make it in time to save her daughter's friends. Their deaths cause quite a stir in their small town. Sidney and her husband rush Tatum to pack their bags to leave town and avoid more tragedies. But Ghostface is already hiding in the attic and they get attacked in their own house. After running to the street, Ghostface becomes death number 5 as Gail arrives to the scene and runs him over with her SUV in a reveal that earned her an applause from the theater. This Ghostface turns out to be a guy called Carl, and no one knows who he is. What follows is a typical Scream scene. A group of friends gather at a coffee shop to make a suspect list, and since there is a curfew, the city is empty and there are obviously easy targets. Even though there are 6 people at the meetup, Tatum and her boyfriend Ben leave, which leaves only 4, the twins from the previous 2 movies and 2 newcomers from Tatum's school, Lucas and Chloe. When Ghostface comes to pay a visit, the twins get away with only scratches, but the other two won't be so lucky. Chloe gets a shard of glass in her throat after Ghostface sweeps the bar with her body. Lucas, playing a hero, gets stabbed first and dies one of the most iconic deaths in the movie. Ghostface impales him on the beer tap, and with his body pulling the tap, beer comes pouring from his mouth. Deaths 6 and 7 happened around an hour and a half into the movie. Tatum thinks her boyfriend is the killer because she saw his laptop with deepfake software used to make a fake stew, so she hits him across the face with the laptop and goes running into the empty town. But someone else is not respecting the curfew. She meets Ghostface in the street, but manages to run away and reunite with her boyfriend. But Ghostface sneaks up on them and stabs Ben multiple times, making him kill number 8. Tatum tries hard to be strong like her mother, and with Sydney on the phone, she manages to shoot Ghostface, but missing the final blow to the head. As Ghostface gets up, we see there is more than one, and they kidnap Tatum. Sydney gets a call to get her daughter where her heart is, at her home. With Tatum tied to a chair in the front yard, a nod to the opening of the first movie, the final act begins. The two Ghostfaces reveal themselves and their motives. They are Sydney's neighbor Jessica and Marco, a man who works at a mental institution. They came up with a story that Stu is alive and was in that institution for years before being released. As we saw many times in the past, the two don't seem to be the best collaborators, and after Sydney and Tatum fight back, Sydney shoots one of the Ghostfaces straight in the head and he becomes kill number 9. After a fierce battle with the remaining Ghostface Jessica, Sydney overpowers her, but Jessica wants to fight some more, and Tatum comes in and shoots her. Again, she didn't shoot her in the head, so she flees. The next time we see her, Sydney and Tatum both shoot her in the head many times, making her lose face literally. She becomes the final kill, bringing the kill count to number 10 in Scream 7. So that's it, 10 kills for Scream 7. Did you see the movie and which kill was your favorite? Tell me in the comments below. If you want, you can support me by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching.